Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ink House Radio. My name's Jammer. I'm here today with Jonesy, sans Juan Diego, unfortunately, who continues his workaholic streak, crashing out at 3 a.m., those sorts of things. But we're here, the early morning birds. Wait, the early birds, getting the worm. The worm being this conversation.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's 11
How you
a.m.
doing?
here on the East Coast.
I know it's not even early. He's a night owl, and we're just not. So to us, this is late. I've done so much previously.
I don't think I'm
now.
an early bird or a night owl. I'm like that pigeon, just kind of like.
What does that mean?
I'm something in between. I am neither, but it's like I can do either, and it sucks.
What do you mean? Why does it suck?
Because I have a hard time getting to sleep when I need to, but if I have to stay awake, I can't stay awake, so I can't ever really get enough rest. I'm just a very confused pigeon. Not an early bird, not a night owl, just a very confused pigeon.
I wasn't an early bird for a while, but then I lived with Kirsten.
Change your chronotype.
Changed. You know, in the immortal words of Heath Ledger, I was able to change my stars. And yeah, I did it. That was a deep cut for anyone who noticed. Do you know what that's from?
10 Things I Hate About You? No. Knight's Tale.
Mm-hmm. That part, seeing his dad, his blind dad, hearing his name being called out in the announce. Oh,
I need to watch that
tugs
again.
at my
That's a great
heartstrings.
movie.
It's so good. It's so good.
I knew it was something special when they were playing Queen. And you're like, wait, is that coming from the trumpets or is that the music? Because it stopped.
Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
And that was the thing. It's like, don't worry about it. Just let it go. And I was like, all right,
yeah,
we're here. We're here now.
Just let yourself get taken by the movie.
It's great.
Get taken by the music. Speaking of that, today we're here to talk about a musical film.
You know what I
K-pop
love?
Demon
You know what
Hunters.
I love? So wait, here's
What?
the thing. Here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
We were like, hey, let's start the podcast. Let's record. Because the banter that you start out with is podcast worthy. And you're like, all right, I'm going to start recording.
And then I transition into something completely different.
Just jump right into the fucking show.
You know, I don't need your judgment. Your judgment is unnecessary.
It's just so much good content on the floor. Because you asked me, you were like, oh, you escaped. You started talking about my shirt. And I started explaining.
So what anxiety does escape rooms bring to you? Because apparently you're talking about a lot of anxiety. I have no anxiety. I think it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun.
It depends on what kind of childhood you had, right? Like it dredges up. I'm dead serious. It dredges up like childhood demons for me. So like for me, I always thought I was a dumb child. I always felt dumb. And so the anxiety of like trying to do this thing in front of other people.
Why did you think you were a dumb child?
Because I sucked at school, because I got in trouble all the time. People called me dumb. Like it just struggled. I just struggled in school.
That's insane to me because you were like, you were like probably one of the smartest people I know.
Aw.
It's probably a lot of overcompensating on your part, or in terms of like you've lived your life a specific way to help complement any weaknesses that you had in that regard. And as a result, you're probably more put together than your average person because of that.
Maybe. But like that insecurity, always there. Always there.
Yeah,
so the idea of like, so keep this in mind. When I did the escape room, I did it with a doctor, a strategist, a logistician, she's not a strategist. What was she? She's like a fixer, like an army fixer. And so I'm the lawyer, but like everybody else there is like degrees on top of degrees and accomplished. So it's like, yeah, I very well might be the dumbest one in this group. And so like the anxiety is still there of like, okay, I've got to like do a thing that makes me not feel stupid.
I think it's funny. I think you and Kirsten are very similar in that regard because you seem to both have insecurities around being useless or dumb or this or that. I think hers probably also comes from a perspective of sexism, of people making her feel that way because of being a girl as well. For me, like if I were there, I'm just happy to be there. I'm just having a good time. I don't feel the
I'm just happy to be here.
I don't feel the need to prove anyone anything because we're just playing a fucking game and that's fine. Like
It's
we're
not
just
even
having a
like
good time.
it's not even prove a thing to other people. It
Or
is
to yourself to feel like you're okay with yourself as a human being,
it's like
that
this.
you're deserving to
This
be
is
among them.
this is an easy explanation for it. I don't need to prove to people that I can walk down the street, but when I trip, I feel fucking dumb. So it's like that. Like I'm not
Hmm.
consciously thinking like, oh, I need to walk a certain way so these people think or feel something. But when I trip, like in an airport, and a bunch of people see, it's like, fuck, I look like a dumbass. It's that. It's
Huh.
just I'm not consciously thinking about what other people are thinking until I do the dumb thing.
Interesting. I could see that.
It's unburdening
I think there's a
until
reason
the
why
thing
I
happens.
for me also. It's probably I consider myself, yeah, I have my own issues, but I feel like I'm relatively mentally stable isn't the right word. Secure,
Yeah.
emotionally secure, mostly. Um, emotionally secure. I forgot where I was going with that. I forgot where I was
Yeah,
going with that.
that you can go to escape rooms and have fun because
Well,
you're
no,
emotionally
not just
secure.
that. Oh, that's probably also a reason why I will not rise above mediocrity in many, many things. Like I
Because you have
was
nothing to
so,
prove.
so it baffles me. So when Kirsten's just like, "Oh, I don't want to go for a run," it baffles me. When people say, "I don't like this thing because I'm not good at it," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Bitch, try growing up not being good at anything. You just have to be okay with it." I
Yeah.
grew up not being good at anything, and I just had to be okay with it because what the fuck other solution was there? There was no other solution. I just had to be
Yeah.
okay
Just
with
got to do the
being
thing.
mediocre at everything. Like I love running. I'm not a good runner. I've never been a good runner. I've always been like the last like bottom rung of performance in terms of the the cross country. I was low to mid near the end because I got better, but that was like you know breaking my back to do that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like I just had to be okay with, hey, you're not good at that, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun doing it. That sounds like a fucking Disney Channel original movie message, but that's kind of how I had to get through life. I was never good at things. The closest thing I got, and the only thing, and I tell this to Kirsten all the time, the only thing that I have any remote security in is my writing. Everything
Mm.
else, I just, a complete imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Writing is literally the only thing. And ironically, it's probably the thing that I'm constantly being judged most harshly on.
Okay. I can see
Very
that.
interesting. Hmm.
Yeah. 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 That's it.
Jesus. Well, K-pop Demon Hunters. We're going to be talking about that today. It'll be all sorts of fun. I also have a little surprise segment for us to go through in relation to K-pop Demon Hunters. I am
Oh,
disappointed that Diego isn't
surprises.
here to talk the movie with us because he really loved the movie. He
It's a
was
lot of
sort of
fun.
like, yeah, he loved it. He thought it was. I mean, I I don't know if he had any qualms with it. As we discussed last time, I don't know if this was off camera or on camera, but he's like, "Hey, if I get 10 minutes of entertainment out of something,
Oh
that's
yeah.
a win." Um,
Yeah. You
and
people are really weird that way.
you have more than 10 minutes of entertainment just from the songs alone in this movie.
Yep.
So add in everything else, it's a hit. But before we dig too deep into this, before we go too deep into the conversation, I do want to do the normal Jonesy thing and kind of give us some foundation for the discussion before we move forward. So K-pop Demon Hunters, it just hit Netflix this past Friday. What was the day that it hit? Do you remember offhand?
So we could go today. That would have been the 20th. I think the 20th.
20th. And it's hit. And as of right now, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes with 31 reviews, 86% popcorn meter. I started to make a
Shocked.
popcorn meter, but
I'm
no,
shocked.
I'm not shocked. I
Why?
wouldn't be surprised if you had some men's right activists coming in here and
Oh,
downgrading it.
come on. Really?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Fuck.
It's pretty girl power, which is fine. But anyway, so the basic premises when they aren't out selling out stadiums, K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe use their secret identities as badass demon hunters to protect their fans from an ever-present supernatural threat. Together, they must face their biggest enemy yet, an irresistible rival boy band of demons in disguise. So, Jonesy, we watched the trailer for this
Yep.
a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer's job is to get somebody excited for a project. Trailer's job is you're going into it, you're feeling one way about a movie. By the end of it, you like to think that you're a little bit more excited. Your excitement has gone up a little bit. Was that your experience with that trailer that we watched?
Oh, I was about to be impressed because the lead up to your question, I was like, generally, I don't think you have like the best memory for the things that we talk about. So I was like, is he about to remember what I actually said? I did not care for the trailer. I was like, this is not hitting for me. I felt nothing. Like the humor didn't seem like it was anything. The animation was okay. Um,
Oh, that's
and the
bizarre to
songs
me.
were so short. What?
The animation, I wouldn't have. I thought the
Oh, you were
animation looked
super
great.
into it. You like
Yeah.
everything I said. You were like, what? No, opposite day. Like, and so I didn't like anything about the trailer. I was like, I will watch it because I even remember. So I think that this kind of I'm gonna stop myself before I go into a review, but I remember one of the scenes from the trailer being like they all like two of them look at each other and go ah, and then they look at the third who doesn't react, and she's like ah, and I was like, are these the jokes? Is this what this is gonna be? And then I
It's
saw
like
it in
cringe humor,
context.
right?
Yes,
It feels like
but
cringe humor.
when I saw it in context, I died laughing. Like I thought it was great. And
Yeah.
I think some of that requires knowing something about their character, at least for me, to have
Mm.
found it funny. Um, and so to go from seeing the trailer and being like, I'm not sure I even want to see this, to watching the movie and like bobbing my head, tapping my feet, and like laughing along with my kids as we watch. Oh, it was great. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's a. I get the idea where it's just like it comes across as incredibly cringe out of context. I think I mentioned this to you before in a previous podcast. It's like the difference between walking by as somebody's watching like a TV show and being like, "This is cheesy,"
Yeah.
and actually sitting down and watching it and being invested in the context of the cheesy scene,
Yeah,
where
it's like
it's no
Friends.
longer cheesy. Sorry,
It's like Friends.
I think you need more words. I don't know what you're talking
I don't
about.
like Friends. I don't like Friends. I don't think it's funny. I will walk by people watching Friends and they're like, ha, 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 ha. I'm just like,
But you've
I
never
guess.
watched it, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh well, do you like it?
No,
How is this remotely a good comparison then? This goes against what I'm talking
because
about.
before I did that, like I will eventually like sit down, like, let me try this. And the only thing that I can think is like maybe there's so much backstory, maybe there's so much because I've never watched from episode 1 to the end, right? I've seen bits and pieces of it. Then I have watched entire episodes, and I'm like, this isn't funny at all. And so I'm wondering whether or not the context of like whatever has been going on throughout the course of the show is what makes people think it's
I
enjoyable,
mean, it's
funny,
the
whatever.
difference between I think a sitcom and a modern TV show, a sitcom from the '90s and a modern TV show is like you need, I would say, 5 to 7 episodes. It's like more than the 3 episode rule because it's not about plot. It's about understanding the relationships and
Yeah.
understanding the vibe and getting sort of adapting to the humor. So I don't know if you've had that, but I think 5 to 7 episodes is like a good amount of time. I gave that to Seinfeld. I don't get Seinfeld. Frankly, I don't get
But
that show.
but I do feel like that is a microcosm of what I said, right? So watch the trailer, didn't laugh. Watched it
Sure.
in context of like a 90-minute movie and like this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, just to give it some context for this, I do want to watch the trailer again, and I'm actually curious. Let's just watch the trailer really quick, and then I'll ask my question. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
It's on the east side. Whole life spinning lives, but you can't hide, baby. Night, right.
Okay, so here's a question.
What's up?
Now, have you watched the trailer since the last time we watched the trailer?
Nope.
What are your thoughts now, having watched the movie? Do you think this is representative of the movie?
No.
Really?
I
Interesting.
mean, it is, but it
I think
isn't
it's quite
like
representative.
I think there is, again, I think there's, this is true of every movie, so this is going to sound really dumb when I say it. There's context there that to me makes the trailer more enjoyable. And I think the movie is deeper than the trailer lets on. So
Sure.
there is zero discussion about, and I get that this is a surprise for the movie, and I actually appreciated this. You don't know that the lead character is struggling with this other aspect of her heritage. You don't really know that the lead boy band demon has this other thing that he's struggling with, and so I like that they kept that out of the trailer And so that could just be revealed as you're watching the movie. And for me, that made the movie deeper than the trailer let on. But I also appreciate that they were able to um, restrain themselves from spoiling that, because I feel like most trailers now would be like, yeah, she's struggling with this, he's struggling with this, and you would get like a mini version of the entire plot in the trailer. And so to me, this trailer came off a lot more like a music video. And it just seems very surface level. And like I said, the movie to me had more layers than that, which I enjoyed.
Okay. So let's talk about the movie. So we know your expectations going into it. It's very clear that you were positive coming out of it. But I guess give me your quick review of K-pop Demon Hunters after having watched it.
Really fun animation, really good action, very very funny. And I like I said, I was surprised by the depth that they went into with regard to some of the characters. I do like that there was some lore introduced and they didn't feel the need to do exposition on all of it. That said, there are a couple of things that I wish I had gotten more of. But if this is a success, I could imagine them doing like 2 more of these, and I'll be satiated.
Easily.
Yeah.
That'll only take 30 years to come out because this movie took 9 years to make.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So I don't know. I actually recently just followed the husband of the creator of this, and he's another person in animation as well. They're like an animation couple. He has another TV show also on Netflix, which I definitely want to check out now. But he also was a storyboard artist. But he talked about ran down. Hey, I'm the creator of this TV show. My wife and I also worked on K-pop Demon Hunters. For the hell of it, here is a breakdown of every project that we've worked on in the past 9 years. And it wasn't projects that were produced. It is projects that they've pitched and basically weren't made. And there was like 9 of them.
Oh, wow.
And I think it really goes to show, and he like basically he's like, it's this show, and he had like art and stuff. He's like, this was the show was about. Here's what the struggle with this, and da 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 da. He basically walks through each of the premises of all of them and shows art the entire time. And I'm like, it's really a numbers game when it comes to this profession. It is not easy to get into. It kind of made me look differently in my limited time out there in LA, where literally I pitched 2 TV shows. Obviously, 9 of them came out or, went anywhere. But now I'm just like, oh, that was fucking babies. That was like nothing. That was nothing compared to like all the work that these people put into it. So it's just really interesting to see that. But anyways, I follow him about the show, and it's just like it's very interesting just to get some extra behind the scenes. So I highly recommend if you look up who the creators are and who a storyboard artist is to see more information, more behind the scenes. But yeah, this movie, this was a fun surprise. No, I wouldn't say surprise. I expected it to be good. And I think what really clinched it for me was the opening sequence where, really the opening fight scene, how it's done, really just, it set the tone, and it took the moments that seemed like would be cringy, which is like the overly aggressive nature of the leading girls and how they would act, worried it would be cringe, but in context, it worked. It worked very well. And then transitioned into that fight scene in the plane. And even the moment where, I was like, yeah, this plane is trash, and they slurp down their ramen, that worked way better in the film than it did in the trailer, in context of it. And it really just set the stage. And it's funny, the first thing that came to mind, I don't know if you've ever seen this or what your thoughts are. No, not Iron Man 2. Was Josie and the Pussycats. Did you ever watch that movie from like 2001 or 2003? Yeah. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So between the opening scene where you have the fans just talking about how much they love them and then the plane sequence, it just reminded me about Josie and the Pussycats because it's kind of like a bit how it opens in some way.
Yeah.
But I saw that and I was like, okay, between that I'm already in. There are some things that I agree with you that this is a movie I probably watched 5 or 6 times already. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Serious. I've watched this movie so many times and not paying attention the whole time. I watched it this morning again.
Jesus Christ.
So I've watched this movie a lot. This is a very digestible movie. It's easy to get into. It's easy to have fun. It's easy to see little details in the animation. every single time, or in the lines, or in the lyrics of the songs. It's just so much fun. There's so much there to chew on, and we're gonna be like eating this up for like the next couple of months easily, or several years. It's gonna have to last us several years before the next one comes out. I'm sure the next one's coming out at some point.
Have you been listening to the
In
music at all?
2030. Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
on repeat. I was listening to it right before we popped on here.
Before you saw this movie, how much K-pop do you think you'd consumed?
Not much.
Yeah.
I knew the names BTS. Sorry,
Okay.
I knew the name BTS. That's it.
Okay.
I knew about K-pop. I've known about K-pop for a while because it's kind of like adjacent to like anime and J-pop a bit. But
Yeah.
K-pop, obviously, I think is bigger internationally than J-pop has been. So I've heard of it. I've heard some stuff, but I wouldn't be able to really do anything. But this has kind of made me. I don't want to say it's made me interested because I'm always the type of person where I like music, but I like it when in context of like something
The thing you're
visual.
watching. Yeah.
Yeah, in context of the thing I'm watching. Music by itself, there's some extra friction to get it lodged into my brain.
You know what's funny? You say that. A friend of mine, I exchanged a playlist with her, and she was like, "You like a lot of soundtracks," and I had to go back and try and figure out why, and it was for the exact reason that you're describing now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the visual context of what it was I was watching just makes it so. I hate to makes it stickier in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me enjoy it more.
It also helps with writing because I might be writing something that there's some tangential something that's kind of similar. And when I'm running, it helps me kind of think about scenes and brainstormings and arcs and stuff. Like just that extra bit just really helps.
Yeah.
And so,
And
yeah, I've
so
been listening.
No, I was just gonna say, and bringing it back to this, like I loved that a lot of the music. So you're talking about the airplane scene in the beginning. I love that that was connected to a song that they were doing, and so that makes it uh, creates the friction in my mind where it's just gonna stay there.
There are a couple of moments in that opening fight sequence where I'm like, oh, this is cool. And one was when she threw like the water boiler, and the other character Mira caught it and then bashed the demon's face in to the beat, and then Zoe started filling up their ramen cups
Yeah.
as they were doing it on beat, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then the moment where you cut out of the plane and you see sort of like the demon silhouettes up against the windows as they're being killed, and I'm like, this is a cool movie. Like this is a
Yeah.
really cool movie, and it didn't disappoint from there on out. So, but I do have some criticisms, as I always do.
Let's hear it.
Obviously, not deal breakers, but I do want to touch on one thing that you mentioned. When it comes to the lore and mythology around the demons, that I felt like was lacking and maybe a little confusing. I really didn't understand the stuff with the Honmoon, at all. Like it's like, okay, you need to close it up. I guess the song does it, whatever. I also didn't understand the difference between what's his name, Genu as a
Genu.
demon versus the other demons. What's the difference between them? Are they
Yeah, he seemed
different?
like he was more sentient. It's almost like where you have a lead vampire versus all the minions that he created. He
Yeah.
seemed like he was much more like, yeah, just sentient. It's the best way. I
And
can
like
think of.
that one moment where Rumi was like asking one of the demons, "Are you being controlled too?"
Right.
And then he's not. I'm like, okay, tell me more about that. Where do these demons come from? Also, what happens when they die? Like, what's the situation here? Like, I want more.
Yeah, do
Granted,
they get sent
I
back
don't
to
know.
that hellscape, or do they actually like die?
Right. What does that look like? And are people, a lot of people died in this movie.
Yep.
That kind of got swept under the rug. Like, where are these people's
They're fine.
souls? Like, what's going on with them? Let's
He
just,
definitely ate those souls.
yeah, he ate all those souls. They're all dead. Like, so many people got their souls taken and then disappeared. So many deaths happened, and it just kind of got brushed under the rug, which is fine. But I'm just more interested in, we don't need to see this. That thing I want to make sure, like, I'm not sure anything we just said was essential. I was just curious about it. And I think maybe have a bit more understanding about the difference between him as a demon and the other demons maybe would have been helpful, but I'm not sure what it would have added or if it would have been worth the time and slowing down of the plot to do that.
I have a guess. Here is my guess, and this is just my headcanon. There's a scene where the lead demon is talking to Genu, and he says something to him like, "I let you keep that voice." there's a part of me that thinks like him letting him keep that part of his humanity is the thing that separated him from the rest of those demons.
But why is he special, and how common is that? Yeah, those are things that I'm curious about.
I think it's abnormal. I would say that it would have to be abnormal,
Mhm.
just based on the way that they were interacting. The way I can't think of the lead demon's name,
Gino.
but no, not Genu, the fire demon.
Oh, okay,
Started with
the
a G,
main
I think.
villain. Gotcha.
Yeah, Guama. I think there was something in the way that they were interacting that led me to believe that this was abnormal. Especially as you look at Genu as when he's walking through the crowd. No one else seemed like him. And so I gleaned from just his entrance into that, even the demons that he chose to be in the boy band, they didn't seem particularly as sentient as he did. It seemed like
Yeah, they seemed
he
like
was the guy,
zombies
basically.
whenever they weren't on.
Yeah. And so that is what led me to believe like, oh, okay, this is just an abnormal thing that happened. And because of that abnormality and because he let him keep his voice, that aspect of his humanity is what made him slightly different. Headcanon.
The other thing that I feel like I would have done differently in this is near the end of the story. And it's funny. So I'm actually one of my friends' wife is in the animation industry.
Hmm.
Not as an animator, but in some other role. But they said something that I thought was interesting. She said, let's see here, blah, blah. So he said, I thought they kind of had a rough landing with wrapping things up. His wife thinks they ran out of budget in places, but a good time overall. And I do want to speak to that because I think I had the same thought, not in terms of budget. It wasn't that it looked bad, but it was just there were some filling out pieces that we were missing because there just wasn't the budget to fill it out, to
Like
animate those sequences. For me, how I would have done things differently at the very end, Rumi, spoiler, as we know, is becoming, she's always been part demon, but she's like turning more and more into a demon, it seems like, as time goes on.
Yeah.
And she has this confrontation with Celine, her mentor, who, by the way, feels like she was cut out of this movie. Like there were sequences that were cut. Like it felt
Yep.
like there was something missing there. And at the near the very end, like the end of the second act, she basically says, "Why didn't you love me?" She says, Celine says, "I did," and she says, "All of me." And at the end of that sequence, it almost looks like she's evil, and that she's basically been like, "I'm a demon now. I am evil." But the next time we see her, it's like
She's reined it back in.
she's reined it back in. She's come to terms with who she is and understands, like, oh, this is who I am. Like she's come to. It's actually one of my favorite arcs, period. Like one of my books has this arc in that. And have you ever played Celeste, the video game?
No.
It's a similar sort of arc where it's a metaphor for her overcoming, climbing the mountain is her overcoming her anxiety. And at first she like beats her anxiety, but then realizes that like her anxiety is not something that is to be beaten. It's a part of her, and she needs to learn to be with that. I have that arc in one of my books as well. You know, one of the characters has this ghost that is a part of her, and she's trying to outrun it, but ultimately learns that it's a part of her. This is the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Thunderbolts. It's another arc, same thing. Yeah. And this movie had that same arc where the demon aspect is a part of her, but she kind of already discovered it by the time we saw her again. She realized that, but we kind of missed the realization. We got some of the emotion surrounding that. It's a part of the song. This is what it sounds like. And very impactful, but there was just some connective tissue that was missing there. If I were to do it differently, I would have had her come into the scene broken and scared and trying to be, you know, accepting this part of her, thinking that I'm evil. And then somehow her interaction with the bad guy as well as her friends would have brought out that, oh, mid song, mid battle, this thing is not a weakness. This thing is not something to be pushed away. It's something to be embraced as a part of me. And I just feel like there was something missing there that maybe for budgetary reasons had to be cut out.
Yeah. I mean, it is the thing that stuck out to me is you have a scene where her friends essentially turn on her, point their weapons at her. and
Mm-hmm.
then that kind of just goes away. It's kind
So
of a
this
big.
song,
It seems like a big deal.
this song has bars though. Like I'm gonna pull up some of the lyrics from that song. This is what it sounds like. So I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back, but now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. That is a great imagery. And the
Yeah.
other follow up to that is, why did I cover up the colors stuck inside my head? I should have let the jagged edges meet the light instead. Another great visual there about sort of like the beauty that can be found in broken pieces. It's just chef's kiss, and I wish it was coupled with a little bit more rounding out of that aspect that I think would have made it stronger.
Yeah.
So those are my main criticisms of the movie. But apart from that, love. Like I said, I've watched it several times since last week. I've listened to the playlist several times since last week. I have no other real critiques, I don't think. What about you? Any other critiques on your end? Or things that you love that you want to talk about that we haven't?
So this is a critique. I understand this is not the point of the movie, but as time has gone on, there have been lots of criticisms of the idol industry itself, right? Where these are just kind of like factories for people, and we don't really ever get a hint of that. And I understand that's not the point of the movie, but it would have been interesting to see, as we're talking about literally becoming demons and all, like what this can do to you. It'd be interesting to see what could have happened if they had touched on that at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if that I mean that's thing that could be mine for a sequel. I think the difference is that the Demon Hunters really changes things. Like I saw something online saying the most unrealistic part of this movie is how much they let the idols eat.
Yeah.
Or the K-pop stars eat, but I'm like, but they're also fighting demons, so they have to eat. So
But
that kind of almost puts them in a different sort of realm of reality that can't really be addressed.
to that point, like it literally crossed my mind. Like
Yeah, it did cross my mind too.
Yeah. Like that specific thought, like, man, they sure are like doing the thing. Because from what I've seen, like they go to boot camp, how much they eat is controlled, like whether or not they date anybody, all of those things, like highly managed, highly controlled. And so, like I said, it's not the point of the movie. There are ugly realities to every industry, everything. And when we see those things stylized and fictionalized on television, they aren't always addressed and touched on. And so this is very much coming at it from a fantasy perspective. But it, like, knowing how prevalent that is, it's hard for that not to like to just like, oh, that's an interesting thing.
Anything else you want to talk about with regards to this movie?
Nope, really good. Surprised at how good it was based on my initial reaction to the trailer. So I think that anybody who likes animation or likes K-pop should definitely check this out.
Okay, so we're gonna do a tier list right now
Uh-oh.
of the songs here.
What is this? I don't remember the songs that well. I haven't listened to them since I watched the movie.
Too bad. You're gonna have to go off of memory. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the songs. We're gonna provide context to them, and then we're gonna assess them based on this tier list here. So how it's done. We'll start with that one. Opening to the movie. Really a tone setter.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Is it as strong by itself? I say it's not quite as strong by itself, but still S tier for me. What about you?
So I would say the same, not just because it's the opening song, but it's also in the trailer. So it's your introduction to that world to begin with.
So was Takedown.
Yeah, it is, but it is.
So was Soda Pop.
It is more memorable to me based on the kinetic action that's happening at the time, and it's introduced in the trailer. To your point, visually. So, like, let's take Soda Pop, for example. It's catchy, but what I like about this was there are visual elements that were happening during how it's done. Like you said, the beat happening in time with the punching or the pouring of the water or like the lights flashing against the silhouette of the demons as they're dying in time. And so you're right, probably on its own, not as strong. And while it's also in a trailer, the thing that the movie gives it is better context.
S tier, do you agree, or do you think A tier?
No, I agree.
Okay, moving on. Golden. This is the single that they release after that opening sequence. The one that kind of pushes things along, where we discover that what's her name, Rumi, is part demon or has the demon patterns on her.
Look this up now. I gotta hear
This is a song, admittedly, did not stick with me originally. It's gotten better each time I've listened to it. This is a song that her voice would crack on. Remember when she was trying to sing?
Yeah.
Hitting that ridiculous note. To me, I think it's my favorite, but if you've just watched the movie and not really gone back to the soundtrack, I'm not sure it stands out as much. So I'm open to giving it A tier, even though I would personally give it S tier.
Okay. You said the single they released. I'm thinking about
Takedown?
No. When you said the single they released, within the context of the movie, not a single that Sony released to promote.
In the context of the movie,
Yeah.
they released the single.
Okay.
Yes.
Really good. A tier. I enjoyed it.
A tier. Not S tier?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Soda Pop. Introducing the demons.
Yeah, it's catchy.
It's catchy.
Not A tier.
It's bubbly. Not A
Yeah, it's
tier.
not
I
A-
agree.
it's-
I think
it's
it's
B.
It baffles me the number of people who are like, "Oh, Soda Pop is like the best song." I'm like, "No, it's
No,
not.
they're fun. It's okay to be
Get
wrong.
off. Get out. Get
It's
out
okay
of
to be
here."
wrong.
Yeah. But I do like the if you listen to the lyrics of it, there's like some double entendre, not sexual double entendre, but about
Yeah.
like them being demons and sucking people's souls.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to Golden. The other thing that I liked about Golden, while it doesn't happen during an action scene, I thought that the music video that went along with it was pretty good.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Okay, Free. This is a duet between Rumi and Ginu, where they realize they're free. This is a song that also I zoned out on in the movie, admittedly. It's gotten better to me as time has gone on. Still not a top tier for me. I think I would give it a B tier above Soda Pop in terms of quality. And I think I'll grow to appreciate it more over time, but not like a standout.
I agree, but here's the reason why. I think that the other two songs, pushed the vocal, not necessarily range. I don't know what the ranges of these artists are, but they feel bigger. Golden for sure. And it's all right. It's cute. I do like it better than Soda Pop though. I wish there was like a B plus range. I would put it there.
I mean, it's there. That's where it is. B plus. We'll call it B plus.
Okay.
What about Takedown? This is an interesting song because
is that the one that's on stage when that's the one they're trying to write, right? And she's
yes,
like, these
that's the
lyrics
one they
don't
were
make
trying
sense.
to write. So it's like you hear it in bits and pieces throughout the movie. There's like 3 separate segments when they're trying to write it and they're fighting montage. Then there's the train fight, and then there's the stage performance where they bring it on again. So you kind of hear it in pieces.
It's an
A tier. Above Golden or below Golden?
Below.
Okay, I agree, 100%. Like I think it's
Man,
very
I feel like
good.
we need to go on a game show.
What I also love about Takedown is the lyrics are, they're basically talking about how much they hate demons and how much they're going to beat them. And there's a couple moments where, Rumi's singing it. It's very clear she's singing it with an air of self-loathing.
Yeah.
And then also it's accusatory towards her specifically on stage where they're basically in her face telling her she is a demon and should die and all that. And it's just, it works so well just in the different ways they use the same lyrics, not to mean different things, but to be punctuated in specific ways that are more effective in the moment. So like great song, but great use of a song in the story to push an emotion and plot as well.
The other thing I like about it is, have you seen the official music video for it?
I don't think so. No.
So at the end of the movie, they are interspersing like the actual artists who are singing the songs with stuff. So you're getting to see them like do the thing. That is the official video for this. So you're seeing like parts of the movie along with the artists singing the song. And that was...
There are 2 versions of the song. One is with the vocals of the vocal performances for the movie. And then there is apparently a band called Twice. Who does that version. So that version
Twice
is slightly
the one that I'm talking about.
is slightly different than the version. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know K-pop enough to know. I can tell there's a difference, but I don't know what the difference is. I think there's like a heftiness and a weightiness to the movie version.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like how in Disney movies you have the pop version that happens in the credits. That's basically
Yeah.
what that is.
Okay. I'll accept that.
All right, your idol. This was the demon performance at the end of the film. Before the final number. The ones
I don't remember it.
I think it's better than Soda Pop. I think it's better than maybe not better than Free. I can go other way. I think it's a better song than Soda Pop. You're just gonna go with me because you don't remember the song.
Yeah,
So
hold up.
there you go.
I pulled it up on YouTube because I genuinely did not remember it. See.
Okay.
It isn't like
No.
as
I think so. I think it's better than Soda Pop. It's not as catchy, but I think it's a better song than Soda Pop, personally. If you want to go C, I can go C.
I mean,
You know what? No.
we don't have to
I would
agree.
go let's go B. Well, we got to put it somewhere.
Oh, I see.
Let's put it at B- under Soda Pop, just because it's like a compromise. You think it's C, I think it's better than C, so let's put it in between.
Yeah, I think even in the context of the movie, Soda Pop is better. The realization that they're demons, the fans that are reacting to them in Soda Pop, like I like. all of
And the visual
things that-
gags too.
yeah, I like all of the stuff that surrounds Soda Pop better than Your Idol. So
Okay. What it sounds like. I quoted this song earlier in the film. This is the one at the very end where this is the song, quote unquote, that they couldn't write that would have saved, that made the golden Honmun or the Honmun golden. This is her accepting her demon heritage and accepting
me.
as a part of her.
Yeah.
For me, I would say it's right behind Golden. It's actually the first song that I connected with on an
Like
emotional
at
and
the very
storytelling level. Well, no, because revisiting it after watching the movie. It is the song that I revisited first
okay,
because I really liked it. Was a lot of visual stimulus at the very end.
You didn't seem to like the ending.
No, I liked it. I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying it was a lot of visual stimulus.
Oh, okay,
To the point where I was just
You
like,
wrote
"Oh, that
that?
was it," because the song is like constantly rising throughout.
when you wrote
and then,
that, I read that as a criticism.
no, that wasn't a criticism. That
Okay.
was just an observation.
Okay,
But yeah, it just kept going and going and going and going and like Stairway to Heaven, constantly rising. Very different, obviously, but constantly rising and escalating, and then going back and then digging deeper and then kind of unraveling or unspooling sort of the emotional aspect behind it. Really just put it right above for me. I might put it personally above Golden and how much I like
Really?
it. But I think Golden is like just a better song.
yeah. And again, so this is weird because it goes back to the idea of what we were talking about, the visual friction that makes something stick. What I liked about this was it was funnier to me
Funny.
because the idea was they were going to go home. They were like, couch. They were like ready to relax. Rumi's like, fuck that. She's like, all right, did you enjoy your 5 minutes?
Oh, you're talking about Golden.
Yeah, what did I say?
We were talking about what it sounds like, so I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I thought we were talking about versus
Okay,
the two.
gotcha.
So I'm saying the reason why I would put Golden higher
Gotcha.
is because I enjoyed what was happening in the story at the time. And so like she goes in, she looks at the outfit and they're like, why are you wearing that? And then she releases the song and then everybody's like really in like I liked the tension, all the stuff leading up to that moment. And I had no idea how everyone else was going to react to her. Like, all right, break's over. It's been 5 minutes.
I was like,
But they
bitch,
were-
you're a workaholic.
But they
you
were
need to
all on
take a-
board.
Take a break. Well, they were on board. They were just like, okay, well, I guess they're still invested in the success of the song. So it's like, okay, I guess we're going
in.
forward here.
And so I like that from a storytelling perspective. So again, for me, part of what pushes it over the top is the context in the story.
Yeah, agreed. Which is why what it sounds like to me personally is higher than what I placed it on here as. But yeah, so that was it. That's our definitive tier ranking
That's our draft.
for the soundtrack for K-pop Demon Hunters. S tier, how it's done. A tier is golden, what it sounds like, Takedown. B tier, free, Soda Pop, Your Idol. Pretty much, we just don't like songs with male voices. Apparently, that's what it comes down to.
Which is funny because I think I do. I like them both equally. I've listened to K-pop artists, both male and female. Although I do think the industry does tilt towards women. I just don't find these songs as they're not BTS, right? They don't have the same oomph.
Mm-hmm. They're poppier, or at least
They're
Soda Pop.
serviceable.
Yeah, Soda Pop is poppier. Free, I think there's more substance to it, but it's not as catchy. Your Idol, I think it's a cool song. I like it more than you do. So there you go.
Yeah.
I probably would have put it as at the top of B tier personally.
I think what you said just now, I think you said substantive. To me, the guy songs in this are less substantive than the females songs. And that
I agree.
I think that is probably deliberate.
Mhm.
And so it holds true. Good job.
Like those songs are fun and poppy, but like we're not following the emotional journey of like most of the boy band of 80%. Wait, is that right? 80% of the boy band. Is that right?
Yeah.
The numbers that up there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 80% of the boy band. They're just basically zombies. And the other one we are invested in, which is why Free is a little bit higher.
But I would even say for plot reasons, right? I think this is just me again making shit up. I think it's deliberately thin because the whole idea is like, no, we just need to get you in here so we can suck your souls away. Whereas the other ones are more substantive. They're coming from an emotional place. The other songs are cute, they're catchy, but they're really just to get you there for the purpose of sucking your soul.
Like Soda Pop, they're empty calories.
Yep. That's it exactly.
There you go. Anything else you want to say about K-pop Demon Hunters?
No, we did it. We figured it out.
We did it. We did good. One thing I do want to say, how are you feeling in this, political climate that we're living in, and just in life in general? This is a tangent. It's coming out of nowhere. So I just wanted to share something with you because I know you're into technology, and I'm just waiting to see your reaction about me and my journey with technology, because I'm finding myself more and more wanting to distance myself from technology, or specifically my phone. So recently, I downloaded the Dumb Phone app on my iPhone. So this is what it looks like right now. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I've been contemplating getting a light phone, and it's very possible that down the line I might just say, you know what, I'm going to get a light phone.
So it's funny. You ever listen to The Verge?
No.
So I listen to The Verge. I've been listening to The Verge since they were This Is My Next, right? Like years and years ago. I actually applied to work there forever ago. So I'm really into the website. They were having this conversation a few weeks ago about this idea of like how to do that. And how would you design a dumb phone? How would you do this, that, and the other? And the thing that I found kind of frustrating about listening to that conversation was it's like, it's you. Like you can do the thing. You don't have to buy another phone to do the thing.
Yes, but no. But continue.
Well, it is 100% up to the person how much they allow these apps to intrude on their lives. So I don't know what the reason that you would do it for. They're doing it because the constant ping of Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff, but you can turn those things off. And it's funny that you're having this conversation with me now. I just re-downloaded Instagram and Threads because I found myself that I had gotten to a place, because part of what I think we need to do is like promote the show more and do all this other stuff. So I downloaded Threads so I could, and Instagram so that I could facilitate that better. And I don't feel myself attached to the apps anymore. And so it just reinforced. Well, I turned off notifications. And so you check it when you want. And before I downloaded them, I had Threads and Instagram in the browser, but they're just certain things you cannot do deliberately. I think they're like oh, we'll give you just enough, but we need you to download the app.
So here's where my mind is on that.
Where's your mind?
My mind is, I agree, ideally, yes, it is our decision to do those things. But decision fatigue is a real thing. Decision fatigue, like if you're making the constant decision over and over again to ignore the notifications, to ignore those things, or to even proactively turn them off, like there's a cost to that. So basically doing what you can to just get rid of those things as much as you can is just makes it easier because it's not your decision anymore. It's just a part of your life and you kind of adapt to it. And then also just adding friction to those things makes it so that it's more deliberate. So you're not just, this is a me thing. When I have 5 seconds to spare, I'll just pull up Threads or Instagram and just start looking through it. So what it does to me, it adds friction to it. I pull it up, I'm like, no, it's not worth it. I'm not going to look at Threads.
You know what the funny thing is? How do you like that app?
I like it so far. I've only had it for like 24 hours.
I kind of want to try it. I kind of want to try it.
Yeah, so it basically is about making it more deliberate. And I think what I've been trying to do for this past week or so is just be better about cataloging the things that I need to do. And then, so for example, if I'm at the point where, okay, I need to promote something on Threads, I will just put it on my to-do list for the day to do something on Threads, or even to say like, hey, scroll through Threads so I can be tapped into a conversation. I will put it on my list. Maybe I'll throw it onto my calendar. I will go onto my laptop and do it that way. That way, it's just like, it's a deliberate decision that I've made to focus in on this particular thing. And then I pop back out and it's not on my phone and it's not with me every day.
Which dumb phone app are you using?
It's called Dumb Phone.
I mean, so
it's called Dumb Phone.
Dumb Phone DP. There is Minimalist. Okay.
Dumb Phone
Did you buy it?
DP.
Did you buy it?
So I did the $3 a month to start, and if I really like it, I'll probably go in for the $30 total. Basically, I don't want to spend $30 on something that I just stop using after a month.
Oh, I see. So you can do a $30 lifetime subscription.
Yes. So basically, I'm starting off, probably I'm going to do it for a month or two, and then if I like it, I'll probably buy a lifetime for it.
Yeah.
And so far, I like it. So I might get the lifetime soon.
You know what the funny thing is? So I don't like this because I need to distance myself from those things. I like it because I like minimalist stuff. And so Notion is a thing that I've thought about trying to get into.
I hate Notion.
I've never used it, but the way that the phones look after you do it. So one of my biggest frustrations switching from Android to Apple is like, you very much are still stuck in like, no, you're going to do it this way. And so Notion seems to be a way to get away from that.
Notion to me,
yes,
it's just ugly. It's ugly. It looks like coders designed it. Kind of reminds me of Reddit, where it just looks like old school, clunky, utilitarian.
Yeah.
And you have so much freedom that I don't even know where to start with it. And I don't want to take the time to figure out how to start with it. So I just don't use it. I feel like I need some direction when it comes to the things I do. But yeah, Dumb Phone is interesting. I see you downloading it. So what it is it's like a skin over your phone, essentially, where it essentially what you do is you add a widget, and then you're able to like add basically
they're
use
like
it as a
shortcuts.
widget. Yeah, they're like shortcuts, exactly. So it's just like, it's very interesting how they do it. And I still have a cheat. Like I have certain widgets the page over that I almost never turn to, but they're just there because I like the idea of like, I have some specific like Duolingo streaks or other things that I want to make sure that are just there that I can see.
Okay. Wait, so how is your widget taking over your entire screen?
It walks you through how to do it. So you can take a look here. It's a big widget, and then there's a space widget at the top of it. And also it has you download a wallpaper that is the same exact color. And it also teaches you how to get rid of the dock at the bottom. So it's literally just, it's literally a mask. It's like a mask on your phone.
So it is Notion.
No.
I could do this. You can do this without paying $30. I know exactly what this is now.
Okay.
What's frustrating what bothers me about it is it's billed as a launcher. That's not what a launcher is.
What's a launcher? I don't know what a launcher is.
So when you use an Android phone it comes with a launcher. It is the home screen. It's the way that Samsung has set up your phone to begin with. You can use something like Nova Launcher. You can use something like Pixel Launcher. There are other launchers on there where you can just like it reskins your phone and changes everything. Um, and
I mean, that's
so
kind of what it is.
yeah, but paying $30 for that is insane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I get it. I know what this is. I can do that on my own. I'm going to do that.
Are you going to do it on your own though? So
I'm not
that's the
gonna-
difference.
So here's the
Are
thing.
you going to do it? You can,
So I
but
am
are you gonna?
100%
That is
not gonna
that is
pay
the main
$3
difference
or
between
$30.
when you get Android people go like, "Oh, I can do that on my own." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm fucking not gonna." So
No, I
it's
will.
just easier to do. Will you?
So
Will you?
yeah, because so I am the guy that used to root my iPhone
Jailbreak it.
or yeah, I'm sorry. So I would root my Android phones or jailbreak my iPhones. I would do that. So this like to do it through the shortcut app, which is essentially what this is. So there's a shortcut app on your iPhone that you could use to do all
Mhm.
the same stuff. But anyway, to bring it back to what you were saying, like I don't think you're wrong. I do think it's nice that people are trying to do this thing, but I also view it as it's a discipline thing. So when you talk about adding friction to this other stuff, you have other areas in your life where you do this, and I understand the decision fatigue, but you run, you write, you walk your dog. There are other things that where you've been like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And we've allowed our phones to push those boundaries. And
To monopolize like the seconds or minutes in between moments.
yeah,
And I'm like, I just don't find as much value. I would much rather schedule time to take care of things that are going to push things forward, like push me to like, I would say, okay, 5 minutes. I'm going to make a post for Inkhouse Radio today, or I'm going to make a post for my book stuff today. I'm not going to do that in the 5 seconds in between something. I'm just going to block off some time. In those 5 seconds in between, maybe I'll just pull up my Kindle or a book instead. So it's
Have you
just
ever done this?
reclaiming those lost moments.
Have you ever been in a place where you're like in a doctor's office or like getting your oil changed or something like that, and you go sit in a place where there are a bunch of people, everybody is just sitting there like on their phones like this, every
Yeah.
single person.
Mhm.
And so the more you put yours down and notice it, like the weirder it feels being that person is like not having their phone.
That's why I have
there.
my Kindle or my book.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not about being like, oh, I'm a better person and therefore I'm just going
No,
to stand
not better.
awkwardly. It's more about like I could use that time more productively, and I can use that time to ultimately make me a happier person that's not casually consuming empty calories.
Yeah. Bringing it back to the songs.
I mean that. Yes.
So yeah, no,
I need more than soda pop in my life, Jonesy.
I think it is worthwhile. I don't think it's worth $30. But I am curious to see where you go with that.
Yeah, because I mean,
speaking-
literally, because it's like what I like about it, and it's like the main thing about the life loan. I'm like, am I really just willing to say goodbye to things? Like, it doesn't take any apps off of the phone. It literally just
yeah, hides them.
it's just like because you could just go to this at any point. You could just swipe right a couple of moments to do that if you really want to. But what it comes down to is I pull up my phone naturally just because it's a habit, and I go, oh. Too much work. I'm going to pick up my Kindle instead. That's literally all it does. Is it just helps.
So I don't know
do
if you
that
can
for
see
me.
this. This is
Yeah.
my home screen. And so I've got those apps. They're no folders, no nothing. But to your point, like I can swipe over and everything else is there.
Mhm.
But these are the things that I pretty much interact with all the time.
Wait, is that
But
an iPhone?
Yeah.
I thought you had an Android. I thought you
We
switched
had
to a
this
different.
conversation. We had this
I don't remember.
conversation.
I don't remember.
Oh my God. I'm bringing it back. Like, yeah, you have a terrible memory for the things we talk about. So I will send you a video. I've listened to one podcast and I've watched one video of people switching to like the light phone or the dumb phone. And it's funny. And I think you would probably get in this situation too. So like where you go somewhere, where you go to an event where you're promoting a book or something like that. You're like, where is this address? Where is this? I got to call an Uber. I got to do this. It's like, if you get another phone where you don't have access to those things, you will inevitably hit not a friction point, you will hit a wall.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't know how to get from point A to point B without the thing.
Well, which is why I think the Light Phone 3 seems like it could be a nice balance because it has maps. Granted, it's not probably as good as that as like, Google Maps or Apple Maps. It has most of the function. Like I want a phone that has the functional aspect so I can exist in society and function,
We
but
live in a
not the
society.
distraction, you know?
Sure.
Not the distraction or the constant pull towards distraction.
Yeah, but I would say this: the power's inside you, Neo. Right? Like I can
Yeah,
tell
I know,
you.
but I'm trying to use that power for other things. So by the time I get to this, I'm just like, I need a fucking break. Here's my phone. Okay, here's a break.
I don't know. I would have to search my feelings and memory to know if I've ever felt decision fatigue
I have
about my phone like that.
because I just fall back on it. It's an easy thing to fall back onto, and it is decision fatigue to actively say, instead of pulling that up, I'm gonna read a book, or instead of pulling that up, I'm just going to exist in the moment and talk to Kirsten or something.
You know what I do on here that I do like. So to your point about using a Kindle, I will either pull up Shonen Jump or I will pull up like an Audible book or something like that, and it won't be a thing. It won't be social media. I think I am more cognizant of ignoring those things in
Yeah, that's
favor
good.
of like I want to finish. Oh, so two things. There should be a segment of the show like Jonesy does what Jammer says. So I finished Stonebreaker, and
What's Stonebreaker?
that's the Brandon Sanderson Stonebreaker.
Nope.
No,
There's no book called Warbreaker.
Warbreaker. There you go. Stonebreaker, Warbreaker. It does nothing for my memory, but I finished that, and then I got to like chapter 252 in One Piece. So
Where are
I
you right
just
now?
still in the middle of Skypiea. They're fighting openly fighting the vassals.
Mm. How are you liking
And
Skypiea so far?
I don't know why people were. Oh, actually, I have an idea. I think it's expectations. I think that Alabasta was so good. Skypiea is not. It's not there, but it's still entertaining in its own right. It's different.
Yeah.
I think Alabasta is like this sprawling epic where it's like, it feels more epic than Skypiea.
It is because
And
it is. It frankly
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah, and I get that as a disappointment, but as somebody who was not expecting it to be as good, where I'm just like, I'm taking it for what it is. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the characterizations again, or like the comedy continues to hit. Chopper coming into his own and seeing like how he evolves, and I think the thing that I like about it the most that makes me think that I'll probably never like the anime. The manga does a better job of giving people moments.
Mm.
And depending on who's animating or whatever, like those moments sometimes seem to get lost. The things
Mhm.
that matter to me when I'm reading the manga don't necessarily matter as much to the animators.
Mm.
And so that seems like, here's an example. Watching the Alabasta movie, one of the fun elements was watching Nami use the tool that
Usopp made for her.
Usopp made. And so her constant conversation, like arguing with him and he's not there about how fucking dumb he is for like messing up this thing that she's fighting
Making
with.
like party tricks in
Yeah.
her weapon.
And it's completely absent from that. Like you're laughing at it, like just thinking about it in the manga, and it's completely absent from the anime. And so stuff like that
From that movie. It is present in the anime series.
okay. Um, I still think for me, I understand why people are book readers and manga readers more so than anime watchers because
Ironically, I feel like more people watch the anime than read the manga.
Oh, I believe that 100%.
For One Piece, yeah.
I believe that. But I understand why some of those things, why there are some people who are like, no, this is me. I'm here. Because
that's me different at this point. Like I am manga only, and I'll tap into the anime for specific things just to kind of see how it's done. Like there's one anime episode that is just like a standout because it's gotten to the point where they have to they play up moments more, and because they have to slow it down so they don't pass
Yeah.
the manga.
I think that I've got to figure out when I'm going to do this, because I've gotten to the point where before I go to bed, I'll read One Piece. Like, I want to get back into Dan Da Dan. But for me, where they are in the anime versus the manga, like it's not one for one, but it's close enough where I can still enjoy one as much as the other. But I'm going to get back into that at some point.
I'm interested to see when after you finish Skypiea. Straight up, to me, the saga after Skypiea is peak One Piece. It never
Yep.
gets better after that point, in my opinion.
Okay. Don't tell me anything about it.
I'm just very like, other people disagree, and I could see why. There are other moments that I think are really, really great, but just
Yeah.
I'm so excited for when you get there, because I have just so many thoughts and theories as to like why that saga hits after Skypiea more than any other saga, and frankly, it hits more than any other saga can in the future for specific reasons. So,
Okay.
very excited for that.
You didn't ask me what I thought of Warbreaker. Not so.
Oh yeah, what do you think of Warbreaker?
It's fine.
I've read. I have
Had
not
it.
finished Warbreaker.
I think that it reminds me a lot of Mistborn. It's slightly better. No, it's not. I think both of them have the same problem for me, and probably the same thing as, to a lesser degree, as Stormlight Archive. I think that he has really good ideas, but the execution doesn't always grab me, and it takes such a long time to get to elements that make it worth it to continue to invest in it. I'm glad that this was only one book, but I like the ideas more than I like the execution.
I think you should read
God damn it! What do you think I should read, Jammer?
Yumi and the Nightmare Painter.
Who wrote that?
Brandon Sanderson.
You know, the other thing I was going to say was it made me more interested in checking out The Wheel of Time, because he was the one that finished it, and people love The Wheel of Time so much. And because Sanderson finished it, I am curious like what he did with that. So what is it? Yumi and the what? Am I going to hit
Nightmare
now?
Painter.
God damn it!
Did you? Are you aware of Brandon Sanderson's like secret projects?
I've seen his Kickstarter. Where
do you understand the context of that?
The Kickstarter?
Yeah.
I know it was during COVID, during the lockdown, and I remember it being hilarious, because I think that was really before I knew who he was. I'd heard his name, and I think the only reason his name stuck in my mind was because we have the same first name, and so the idea of him going like, "Hey, if you do this Kickstarter, you're going to get this book." And I had a bunch of time, so I also did this and this and this, and I was like, "Holy shit, this guy is insane!"
Yeah. So yeah, essentially during lockdown, he wrote, in addition to the normal books that he's contracted to write with like other publishers, he wrote 4 extra books: Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, Tress of the Emerald Sea, Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, I think is what it's called. It's a long title. And then there is Sunlit Man.
When he did that Kickstarter video, did he say what those books were?
In the book? No.
Okay.
No, not in that video specifically. Okay. He did it in follow-up videos. That was just sort of like the announcement video. And then I think did he actually introduce the names yet? No, he just he numbered them. Secret Project 1, 2, 3, 4. And they were revealed at later times as they were essentially rolling out. And even he knew that some people wouldn't want even the title to be revealed. So he was just like, when he first released them, he would release them as Secret Project 1, and then you'd go into it and then realize, oh, it's called this. So yeah, he would do specific things, like pretty cool stuff. But Yumi the Nightmare Painter is my personal favorite of the Secret Projects so far. Because I say so far because I did finish it. I did not finish Sunlit Man. I got 100 pages in. I'm like, it's cool. It's like Mad Max-ish.
You and your 100 pages.
Yeah, I know. It's Mad Max-ish in a way, but I didn't finish it. And then also he has this new book, Isle of the Ember Dark, another secret project he's in the process of releasing soon. So.
Okay.
But anyways, it's he actually, because he's Mormon, he did a mission in Korea. And so this book, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, Korean influenced. and it's also kind of his take on the your name trope of
Wait a
switching
minute.
bodies.
So not you, me, and it's Yumi. the name.
Yumi. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Oh, that's actually a really good distinction. That didn't even dawn on me as something that could be confusing. Got it. That is funny.
I didn't
Hold on
realize you
one
were a
second.
dumbass. Let me spell this out for you.
So
It never dawned on me this would be confusing.
you, me, and so if you type you, me, and the Nightmare Painter, it pops
It'll
up as
correct
number
you.
one result. So you would have gotten it. Oh. Well, there we go.
That's
There
it.
we go. We're doing great. We're doing great. I think that's a sign for us to close out this episode. We're having a great time. We talked about K-pop Demon Hunters. We talked about escape rooms. We talked about Brandon Sanderson. We talked about One Piece and a little
brought it
bit
full
about
circle.
dumb phones. Yeah, we came back. We're doing great. So,
back in Korea.
oh yeah, you lived in Korea for several years too.
No, I was saying we brought it full circle, like the Yumi.
But you also
and then
lived
the
in
K-pop.
Korea. I forgot
I
about
did.
that.
4 years.
How long did you live there for?
4.
4 years. Wow.
Mhm.
Do you like it there?
Oh, I love it. It's great. What? We've never had this conversation?
No, I don't think we have.
So I've lived in Seoul for 2 years and then Pyeongtaek for 2 years, and I think that they are both. Well, Seoul is amazing. Pyeongtaek is fine. It's like the suburbs.
Hey, we should talk more about that at some point because I would love to go to Korea, but
Just do go it. Go.
at some point.
Go.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you, Jonesy?
You can find me at the Quasi Scott on most socials, and I'm back to doing stuff now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you should also follow us at Ink House Radio on Threads or Blue Sky. We have all of them, but what do
All
you
of them.
want to?
We have them all.
What are you going to be using though?
I'm going to use them all. So part of what I was talking about before when I got back on the socials is just like breaking this stuff out into smaller chunks because apparently people.
So what I think would be good, Jonesy,
14-minute podcast.
This is a note for you.
Note for me
because yeah. So I'm going to edit the podcast and post it like I normally do. But something you can do is you could probably go in and pull out the tier segment.
Yep.
The tier list segment and upload it to YouTube separately.
Gonna do it.
There you go. Done. All right. Well, anyways, you can find me at AJ Cerner Writer on all platforms. And I'm still going to be active, but I'm going to be deliberately active and probably not on my phone. So here we go.
I love
right.
that we've completely switched.
What do you mean?
So I was like,
oh, yeah,
I'm
we
out.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not out. That's the thing. I'm not out. I still have it. It's just when I do it, I'm just going to be like, this is a decision I'm making for this purpose. It's not just mindless doom scrolling. Because that's easy to do now when we have clusterfuck as president, right? And it's just, yeah, not great. Not great, Bob. All right. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you all next time. Until then, adios.